Hello, my cuddlers. I have a Patreon, and I have a tier for noble cuddlers, and that's the $7 tier. If you guys want or are interested, I went ahead and put 2 coloring pages up and available on my Patreon page. If you want to become a noble cuddler, $7 tier, and have access to coloring pages as I get those out there for you guys. And also, here is a video of that process of making those images. I only got 2 coloring pages out so far, so here are the first 2 coloring pages for you guys. Hope you like them. Okay, so as you see here, I just decided to have like a splotchy background to work with, because I thought this background that looks tea stained would be softer and easier on my eyes instead of that bright white that just pierces right through and penetrates through my corneas. It's too harsh on the eyes. So I started with that as the background, and then I started doing a little rough sketch of my little dude. Ignore what the title reads. It says, the way it's written is wrong. It's supposed to be Dwablin Doodle. I put a U in there instead of a W. That's my bad. If you're wondering what a Dwablin is, well, that's what I call my moderators and my little minions. So my Dwablin army, those are my moderators and minions that help keep my community safe and cool and help banish the creeps and stuff. They may seem like small little harmless gremlins that, you know, don't have much going on up there, but don't let that fool you. Don't let it fool you. They're actually much smarter than they appear. You know, they got them special eyes, but those eyes are full of wisdom. So much wisdom in those eyes and knowledge. Their language is a little different. So if they were to ask you for a tool, they might refer to it as a thingamabob, doohickey, or thingamawhatsit. But if you give them the wrong tool, they're gonna let you know it's the wrong tool, because those are they have silly names for things, and you know they got silly names like Drula or Bandit or Doofus and Dingus, but you know we love them. I mean, this one I don't know what his name is. We can figure out a name for this guy later. You can tell me what you want to name him in the comments. But as you see, I got the rough sketch down, so I had an idea of how he's just gonna be a scruffy guy. So he's just scruffy. You could call him just Scruffy or Mr. McScrufferson. I don't know. Well, as you see, I gave him little ears that are supposed to kind of have that Invader Zim kind of vibe happening. To me, that's really all that is emulated. That's where that inspiration came from for the ear shape. Is they kind of remind me, not exactly, but they sort of remind me of the ears of Gur's costume. Kind of has that kind of style going with the geometric shapes. Just a little more loosey-goosey. As you see, I'm now working on his muzzle and giving him a little mouth. I know I keep saying him, but this guy doesn't actually have a true gender. Does that make sense? Gender is definitely purely a social construct for these guys, because they don't actually have, you know, as far as we know, as far as they know, they don't have any reproductive organs. We don't know where these guys came from. There were many theories on where these guys came from. It's believed that these Dwablins, some, it isn't like the only missed theory. There's a few. One theory is that they They are the offspring of a dwarf and a goblin, therefore their name Dwablin. But that's very unlikely. There's too many of them for that to be a thing, so that can't be it. That's an unofficial theory. Debunk that. Then there's the thought that maybe they were some abomination born from a strange experiment trying to reanimate some tufts and matted hairballs from a beard of a dwarf, and they got really experimental with it, and then it sprouted limbs and a face, and this thing was born. There's that theory. But then the other theory is that these are just little gremlin, goblin, weird furball-like creatures born from pure chaos from another realm. We do not know their origins. We can continue to theorize and come up with our own ideas, but we will never know. They're just these friendly, silly little guys, and they like to help out. They may seem dumb, but that's just because their language is silly. That's all, and they look a little silly. They actually can be quite smart. Actually, some of these guys can be known to be engineers, and they can be pretty clever. As you notice, they have little noodle limbs. Right now, I'm giving him a beard, and you can see he has a little snaggle tooth. He got a little underbite. And he's got a smooshed up nose. He's got kind of, there's his eyes. See, they look different ways, but that's because their eyes are huge. They barely fit in their heads, and they're just full of so much wisdom. There's so much happening behind those eyes. You don't even know. Yeah, so, I'm sorry. I'm so distracted by the eyes. What was I talking about? Yeah, these guys, and despite having little noodle arms and noodle limbs, and seeming very small, they're like 3 feet tall. They're 2 to 3 feet tall. They're very small. These are small little dudes. They may seem small and frail, and like you could just easily punt them, but don't let them let your guard down if you're in a tizzy, and they can become a threat. Don't get on their bad side, really, because if you do, they will team up in hordes, and their power comes in numbers, and they can be very stealthy and sneaky and strategic when it comes to their tactics. They can be sneaky little guys. They find ways. And they can be a little petty too. They might even they really like shiny things. They might find like they like to pull pranks sometimes, and they also really like shiny things. So if you sometimes shiny things might go missing here and there, that's because it's shiny. I mean, who doesn't like a shiny thing? They just, be careful with that. But yeah, that is my first little Dwablin character. As you see, I am now signing it and giving it my stamp of approval with my signature. Which my signature is just a little kind of symbol thing I made up that is also a tattoo on my back that I thought looked cool enough, so I put it on my back as my first ever tattoo. Fun fact there. Let's get them lines. One of the things I was struggling with during this was my stylus and my tablet. The line weight doesn't work very well. I wasn't able to get it to work well enough, so I had to resort to my eraser and shaping up my line work quite a bit, which did cause this to take extra time, but try to clean it up as best I could. Yeah. these guys, because they don't have, because their gender comes in a spectrum. Also, I want to inform you that the Dwablins will be very expressive in their clothing and styles. Some might just go all natural and wear nothing at all because they're just all scruff and you don't really see anything because it's all fluff and scruff. It's fine. They don't even have anything to hide, I don't think. We don't know. There's so much scruff and fluff you can't tell. But if they do... Look, there's the first one. That's available on my Patreon for my noble cuddlers and up. For those $7 tiers and the higher tiers, you guys can get that now. Here's the second one I'm working on. Here's an example of how they like to dress themselves up. This is more of a feminine, girly girl, little Dwablin character. I forgot to record. I heard when I started working on her last night. So that's why you just kind of see her appear out of, and I apparently saved it as a PNG and I didn't save the Krita file. So that's why I am now forced to separate all of the layers now and fix that so I can continue working on this because I like to work in layers. So now I'm trying to fix that up. And of course, there was a lot of tool issues, so I had stopped recording so I could fix the tool issues. And then I forgot to record the screen again. So when I jump back in, you can see that I've already made the dress for her. So there's her dress. I am sorry. I'm gonna get better. I keep forgetting to tap record while I'm doing the art. I kind of just go into it and I forget. So anyway, made her dress. She's all cute. She's got a bow and a ribbon in her hair, making her noodle limbs. As you can see, she's got her limbs and her little feet. And I thought this one should have like little curlier tufts of hair. I wanted to give her eyelashes and I forgot to do that. She's got her little paws, you know, her feet. And I used the eraser to just, you know, make that. Instead of doing the outline, I just did the thick line and then used the eraser to, empty the space out so it's outlined easily because she's supposed to have noodle arms and I don't have the steadiest of hands and that was easier for me. And as you can see, they have 3 fingers and a thumb. That's it. They have opposable thumbs, so yes, they are supposed to be intelligent creatures. Don't let their derpy look fool you. They're actually quite intelligent. They're just a little special and goofy. So here I am trying to perfect her hands. And this one I did figure out the mirroring tool. The first one I could not remember how to get the mirroring tool out, so I just went for it. This one I definitely took advantage of the mirroring tool since I remembered how to use it and figured that out. And see, she has some cute little bangs and everything. And then as I'm erasing stuff, oh, now I didn't notice. See, I noticed later that her bangs go missing and I couldn't figure out what happened. Now I see what happened. I erased her bangs on accident. Oops. So, I actually erased her bangs and I'm more focused on trying to figure out the background and trying to, salvage my signature, which I waste my time on that because I end up realizing later it's not worth all this trouble. So I just erased my signature and redid the signature from all over again. And when I did that, I actually got rid of the limbs, had to get the limbs back. There we go. And now I work on perfecting my signature. You see it's slightly different. It's not gonna be the same every time because I'm doing it. But there's my signature. I'm making it as nice as I can. And of course, going back with the eraser technique to clean it up. So, sorry sorry about that. Anywho, fixing the signature. I just such a perfectionist, and I was struggling a bit with the steadiness of the lines in the line work because there's some warbliness on the surface of my tablet, and I was informed that could have to do with some overheating somehow. There might have been some overheating, whether that was due to the summer getting too hot or maybe battery. I hope it's not battery related. But yeah, after I fixed up my signature and finished that up, well, I did a little signature symbol. After this, I did my little name signature, and I realized I needed to change my paintbrush thickness because it was too thick, so I had to do it again in a thinner brush. And then I went back to the face and I saved it, and then I went back to the face after doing the background, and because I noticed her bangs were missing, and I noticed there was a spot in her mouth that was missing too. So there were some green spots that I spotted that needed to be cleaned up as well. I fixed her bangs, got her bangs back all nice and cute, cleaned up the line work because warbliness and stuff. And then we moved on to her mouth and fixed her mouth. So, oh yeah, I also had to fix her feet because the line work on the feet was very sloppy, and I wanted to clean it up and make it nicer. I'm not really good at being chatty while I doodle, so when I do the screen recording, I do it with the mic off because I'll be like listening to music, or there's other conversation happening in the background, and maybe some other noises. So I'll do the recording quietly, and that's why I had to do the editing and voiceover after. And there's our little lady. Isn't she cute? Anywho, I now gotta go. I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to be able to customize your own little Dwablin OC and color your own little coloring page of a Dwablin, I have those 2 images available on my Patreon right now, and I am including the link to that in the description below. It is for the noble cuddlers. If you want to do the $7 tier, you will have access to that. I love you and thank you for all your time here, and I hope you have a wonderful life full of cuddles and cuteness. And remember, consent is important, and I'll see you all in the future. Okay, bye-bye.